Okay, so again, standard deviation. Once we talk about the mean, the standard deviation falls right along. So the standard deviation of something, remember, is how far or how much the values typically vary. We're going to say vary, not differ. Typically vary from the mean, right? So suppose this is our probability distribution. We have our mean mu sub x. This is the formula for the standard deviation. And again, I could care less what that formula says. I do care about the notation. That is pronounced sigma sub x, right? And again, we're not going to use this formula. We're going to use the probability stats applet. So hopefully if you did the mean with me from the last example, you did not delete that because we're going to use that again in this next example. All right, here we go. So it says earlier we defined the random variable x to be the APGAR score of a randomly selected baby 1 minute after birth. The table gives the probability distribution for x once again. In the last example, we calculate the mean APGAR score of a randomly chosen newborn to be mu sub x equals 8.128. Calculate and interpret the standard deviation. Calculate and interpret the standard deviation. So again, if the mean is 8.128, to find the standard deviation, we just go to our stats applet. So let's go do that. And there it is, 1.437. So that is our sigma sub x. So our sigma sub x is 1.437. And again, that's by the probability stats applet. That's all we're doing. Okay. And then again, you have to make sure you pick discrete random variable, right? Discrete. Okay, and now what is the interpretation? Okay. So we're going to say the APGAR score 1 minute after birth for a randomly chosen newborn. The APGAR score 1 minute after birth for a randomly chosen newborn will typically vary or typically varies by about 1.437 from the mean of 8.128. And there it is. Okay. Again, I know sometimes we like to either we don't read the word interpret or we like to avoid that. Interpreting is an important part of this class, right? You did nothing to find the values, so at least use your brain to interpret what the value means. Again, remember if there were units, we would include units, but there are no units. It was just the score. So the APGAR score, 1 minute after birth for a randomly chosen newborn, typically varies by about 1.437 from the mean of 8.128. And again, remember that standard deviation represents the spread, right? How spread your data is from the mean. All right, good luck on your homework.